What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Killzone Shadow Fall. Alright guys, we're back at it once again, and I can't really remember if this is the standard 24-player Warzone or if this is the extended Warzone, because actually I've been playing a lot of both lately. And actually I play more of the 24-player Warzone than I do anything, but I am starting to really have a lot of fun with the extendeds. And the thing is not that and when I say I'm starting to have fun, it's not to say that there's anything wrong with the extendeds, but the thing is, sometimes there's not really that many people playing extendeds, and I think that's because maybe some people may prefer the smaller sizes that come with the standard. Obviously, a lot of people like the team deathmatch, and I'm really thinking that after just sitting back and trying to be objective, I really think that a lot of people prefer team deathmatch because, like, you don't have to even think. Like, you don't have to think. And the thing is, I know a lot of people may say to themselves, like, dude, why are you always ragging on team deathmatch? Well, the main reason, if you just want to be honest, the main reason why I rag so much on a team deathmatch is because that's not what Killzone is about, right? If you guys are familiar with Killzone 2, you would know that that's not what Killzone was about. Now, Killzone 3 started to appeal to the COD fanboys with the whole team deathmatch thing because, they had this thing where, there was no missions, and I'm not even talking, and actually they had two types of war zones or something similar to war zones in Killzone 3. They had the standard war zones, and then they had operations, for which both involved cooperative team-based gameplay, right? But with Killzone 3, it also introduced, I forgot the other mode, but it's similar to Team Deathmatch. And actually, I don't know why I'm shooting my own partner. I think I kind of lost my orientation there. But with Killzone 3, they introduced a new mode that was similar to Team Deathmatch, even though that wasn't the title of it. And obviously now in Killzone Shadow Fall, they have the full blown out Team Deathmatch. So it's not necessarily that I just hate on them for the sake of doing it. I just really don't like the direction that Guerrilla Games have went in. Because, I understand. Ultimately it's a business. But at the end of the day, if you lose grip on what people originally loved, like, you start to, corrupt the franchise. That's really how I see it. You really start to corrupt the franchise. And I really don't want to see the franchise corrupted, because as long as I've been playing Killzone games, the multiplayer has always been great. Starting back with Killzone 2 and even going on to Killzone 3. Now, if you guys notice, these guys are attacking A rather hard. Now, actually, let's kind of talk about party chat versus in-game chat. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but a couple weeks ago, Guerrilla Games went on ahead and they added in-game chat, right? And in-game chat is kind of cool, mainly for the sense that you get to communicate with people on your team. The thing that I don't like about the in-game chat is that I just really don't like listening to these teenagers. Like, seriously, because they whine about every little thing, they cry about every little thing, they scream into the headphones, and I don't want to hear anybody screaming, right? Like, if you want to put something up, that's fine. If you want to warn of perhaps a team flanking, that's fine. If you want to say something, but just listen to someone like, "Oh my God, did you see what just happened? This is bullshit." I don't want to hear that. Like, I seriously don't want to hear that. But on the other hand, every now and then you get hooked up with a team in an in-game chat, and they're pretty mature, right? They're not talking too much, because one of the downsides to in-game chat is if people are talking too much, it's almost as bad as not having communications at all, right? Because in other words, unless I'm talking with friends, which more than likely is going to be in the party chat, unless I'm talking with friends, I really don't say too much, other than like I might suggest for some guys to put up other spawn beacons, because for the life of me, I really don't see how people do not understand that good placement of spawn beacons wins games. I really don't see, like, what's so difficult about people understanding that basic concept. There will be times where, let's just say, is myself and T King, or myself and, let's just say, RSD Raven, or myself in Titan Fitness. These are a couple guys that I play with kind of pretty often. Like, you don't have to say anything. You know, you don't have to suggest anything. It's like we all understand that you should take initiative, and we all understand the importance of spawn beacons. Now, the thing is, I don't know if people don't choose the spawn beacon option because they think that they're locked into that ability. Like, in other words, once they choose it, if they were to switch abilities, that the spawn beacon would disappear. I don't know if that's the case, but if it is, let me just go ahead and clarify something. If you guys notice my gameplay, I prioritize spawn beacons, and right after that first death, I switch off to either ground support, supply box, or aerial support. You're not locked into it, and especially if your spawn beacon is at max level, it will be there for, I don't really have the times in front of me, but I think it's about 2 minutes max. Right? I don't know if that's the exact number, but I know it's no longer than 2 minutes. That's a long time for you to go ahead and switch abilities, or even switch classes for that matter, right? Because I know some of these high-speed guys, they'll just get a spawn beacon in there. They'll find a really good place, you know, pretty much covered, but relatively close to the objective. And then after that, they'll just go ahead and switch to assault class, right? Or they'll go ahead and just switch abilities like I often do. So, you know, there is nothing worse. Like, if you guys notice, we have 3 good spawn beacon placements around the objective. So the benefit of that is every single time you spawn in, like if you notice, I didn't have to start all the way over and run all the way back to my base. So boots are on the ground, and these guys will always have pressure on them, especially if their team is lacking in spawn beacons. I really don't understand what's so difficult about that concept, and this is one of the examples of why I think it's just so easy for people to play team deathmatch, because you do not have to use your brain. You do not have to think. You do not have to do anything. All you have to do is just sit there and get kills. You don't have to think like, you know what? I think we need spawn beacons. You know what? Let me find a tactical location for this ground support. You don't have to do that. Because I played team deathmatch a couple times just to get the unlocks, and basically is only a competition to see who can base trap who the first. Like that's basically all they do. And then it's so boring and laid back, and it's boring in the sense that like almost everybody is kind of like playing hide and seek until they're able to base trap. And if they can't base trap, like they're all just hiding, right? Because no one wants to die. You know, because this is, for the most part, the kill-death ratio crowd, which, I mean, is fine. Or you have some people who just simply don't, like, case in point, Cookie L Monster. Shout out to him. He's one of the Twitch guys. Or I think Hot Fuzz is another one. Is it Hot Fuzz or is it another? I can't remember. But there's one other guy I know that whenever they're on Twitch, like, they're always playing team deathmatch. And when I ask them, they're like, listen, I get tired of being on teams that are not playing their roles, so that's why I play team deathmatch. But at the same time, they still understand the basic concepts of teamwork and gameplay, because I've seen them, and I've even been on teams with them. So, you know, I really don't see what is so difficult about people understanding that if you have boots on the ground close to the objective, you're far more likely to win, especially if your opposition team does not have any boots on the ground relatively close to the objective. But, I mean, enough about that. So, when it comes to the in-game chat, I just simply don't like to be around screamy teams. Right? But at the same time, there are some things that you want to communicate. And oftentimes, you know, I even find myself like getting pissed, especially if I'm on a team, like, let's just say we have 10 support guys, and I'll even start whining, right? Because if I'm in an in-game chat and I'm noticing that there's a lot of support guys, they are not reviving. Because another thing, I think people don't know how to walk and chew gum at the same time, like, seriously. Because when I'm playing the game, look at him running from my spider, keep him occupied a little bit while I take that beacon. One thing that I am able to do, and a lot of people are able to do because I play with them all the time, dude, you can shoot and revive people at the same time. Like, you don't have to stop everything that you're doing, you know, just to revive your teammates. I mean, it's kind of like people don't understand, like, you know what, these guys are fighting around me. My primary ability in this game is to revive. Let me go ahead and revive, because the more boots we have on the ground, the more help I have. Because if I try to go in here like John Rambo, more than likely I'm going to die, because I'm outmanned. So that's another thing. I really think that people do not know how to walk and chew gum at the same time. So, you know, for a lot of you guys that are support guys, just try to get a little practice with shooting and pressing on the left directional D-pad at the same time. It is not difficult. I do it all the time. A lot of the guys that I play with are able to do it all the time. All right, so enough about that with regard to the in-game chat. Now, with the party chat, it's a lot more laid back. I mean, you're with friends. You know, you may be, just joking about pretty much anything, right? And, I mean, for the most part, the conversations are controlled, right? There's a little discipline there. You don't have to worry about someone screaming, unless you're just the type of person that like being around and listening to screamy people. So they both have their benefits. You know, there's times where I'm in the in-game chat and I just turn it off because I just don't want to listen to screamy teeny boppers. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of good because you get to communicate to, you know, some of your teammates what needs to be done, you know, as if, you know, you have to hold their hand for the most part, because, you know, they can't think outside of the let me get a kill box. They can't think outside of that box. All right, so enough about that rant. All right, so for a lot of you guys that are really enjoying the game, and actually, this is something I just found out myself. There is a leaderboard, actually, for the war zones, and for a lot of you guys that I guess it's just for personal gratification or kudo points or however you want to see it. You know, for a lot of you guys who are like really interested in checking out how you place, there's two ways to check it out. Number one, if you go into the Killzone.com website and if you register, right, once you click on your Killzone Shadow Fall profile, like there's a tab for war zones, and if you click on war zones, there's an option for you to check out the leaderboards, right? So, I mean, just for personal satisfaction and kind of see like where you are on the leaderboard, you can go ahead and check it out that way. Another way, you can just go into the actual application itself. And if you go into, I think it's like My War Zones, or I think it's something like that. Like if you just click onto the 24-player Warzone or Classic Warzone or whatever one that you play the most often, and you click on the details, if you tab right, I believe it's with the R1. I don't really have the game in front of me, but if you tab right with the R1, you'll be able to check it out in game, right? So you know, if you, like I said before, if you guys kind of play pretty often, you kind of want to see where you place, it's a good thing to kind of check out. You can kind of gauge yourself and see how many points you have, see how many deaths you had, and that's just in addition to your standard, your own profile. All right, so enough about that. So we've talked about in-game chat versus party chat, and we touched on very briefly about leaderboards. Now, you know, I really cannot wait until the clan system is enabled, and you know, I'm actually looking for a few guys, and actually I'm gonna say, because actually I would really prefer for the teams to have like 12 men in the clan, so I know that I'm gonna have to actually ask for more than 12 people, right? Because at any given time, you know, you might have a dedicated set of people. Like case in point, almost every day when I'm playing, there's a few guys who are always on, right? Like for the most part, I'm on much of the day, but there's a few guys that pretty much whenever I'm on. Now, I'm not saying they're on as long as I am, right? Or I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is any given time, whenever I'm on, I can almost guarantee that someone else will be on. So I know that I'm going to have to look for people, at least 12 people who are on kind of as often as I am, so we can get some good team play in, right? Because there's a few guys that I play with that I know they are awesome, right? There's a RSD Raven that I play with pretty often. That guy is a beast with that voltage. That guy is, and the thing is about the voltage, like I suck with it. Like whenever people use it against me, like I die all the time, but I suck with it, right? Now I have heard that people suggest like, dude, all you have to do is like point at people's feet and you'll get it. But I don't know. I just can't mess with the voltage. I mess with it enough to get my unlocks for it, but other than that, I never picked up the voltage because I don't know, the pulver like is my weapon. And actually I used to use a shotgun a lot, but after messing around with the pulver, I don't even mess around with the shotgun that much. The pulver is my weapon. I like the weapon itself. I like its properties. I like the attachments. All right, but we're not talking weapons. So, so for a lot of you guys who are kind of experienced, you've been playing around enough, right? Just go ahead and send me a friend invite, and hopefully we can team up and we can kind of gauge how we play as a team together, right? Because hopefully I can get RSD Raven and T King and some of these other guys, hopefully a Titan Fitness, hopefully some of these guys will be able to go ahead and join up, because I know a lot of people are waiting for those clans. There's going to be a lot of good competition out there. I mean, I've really run into a lot of good guys, and in particularly assault class, right? Because I have a lot of actually a lot of the people that I play with the most, they rock support like me, right? So I think in an ideal situation, like if we ran a 4x8, that would be perfect. 4x8 meaning 4 supports and about 8 assaults, 8 aggressive, good shooting assaults, we will be good. But actually, I ran out of time, so sorry about that, guys. And until next time, Martyrs Brigade is